The flight attendant took off her shoes and stirred the coffee with the heel of her shoe. She then handed the coffee to the female passenger. However, the passenger didn't drink it. Instead, she spilled the coffee all over the place. But the flight attendant didn't dare to resist because this passenger was a Thai princess. The princess had chartered the entire plane before boarding and had requested that only the flight attendant serve her. At that moment, the princess noticed that the ring on the flight attendant's hand was identical to her own. She immediately threw the ring on the floor and stomped on it. Despite being extremely angry, the flight attendant had to endure it. She brought lunch to the princess, but the princess said she wanted the flight attendant's meal instead. Knowing that the princess was allergic to seafood, the flight attendant removed all the shrimp from the meal and served it to her. However, after taking just a few bites, the princess began to cough violently. The flight attendant became alarmed, but the princess ignored her and went straight to the restroom. At that moment, the flight attendant noticed a photo on the seat. It was a picture of the princess and the prince on a date. The flight attendant became terrified, but as she stood up, she saw the princess staring right at her. Soon, the flight arrived at its destination. Before the flight attendant could even leave the airport, she saw on the news that the princess had passed away. Since the princess was a noble, her body had to be transported back to her home country for burial. And before her death, the princess had specifically requested that the flight attendant accompany her body on the flight. The flight attendant had no choice but to agree. As the plane took off, it encountered strong turbulence. The violent shaking caused the princess's body to fall to the floor. In the next moment, the body lurched toward the flight attendant. In that critical moment, the flight attendant quickly unbuckled her seatbelt and hid in the corner. After the shaking stopped, she cautiously approached to put the body back in the seat. But suddenly, the body twitched. The flight attendant was so scared that she fell to the ground. She called the pilot for help, but he said the plane was in the middle of strong turbulence and he couldn't come. With no other choice, the flight attendant had to move the body back to the seat by herself and securely tied it down with ropes. She thought she could finally relax, but another unexpected event happened. Fortunately, she realized it was just a dream. She stood up to get some water, but then she heard the sound of high heels again. The flight attendant slowly walked toward where the princess's body had been, only to find that the body had vanished.